Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Manchester City versus Chelsea watch-along. We've just done the 3 PMs, quick cup of tea, and we're ready to go again this Saturday afternoon stroke evening. I suppose it's the game of the weekend, isn't it? I mean, I'm not actually convinced it is, but it is the biggest game with the biggest teams in it of the weekend, I suppose. And we are going to see some new players. Look at the Manchester City lineup there. We're going to see Mamouche playing with Haaland and Foden and Bernardo Silva, Kovacic and Gundogan, Nunez, Vardiel, Kushanov, Akanji and Ederson complete their lineup. And then you've got Chelsea. There it is. Sanchez, Reece James, Chalobah, Colwill, Cucurella, Caicedo, Fernandes, Cole Palmer, Madueke, Sancho, Jackson. I mean, look, you know what? I can't remember when we did win, lose or draw. What did Robbie go with? Did he go with a draw? Because I definitely went with a Man City win. But I look at it and I go, you know what? That they are quite closely matched, these teams, and I genuinely do think that there might be an opportunity here for Chelsea to get something. The draw is the safe one, but it's hard to call because Man City are so bad these days, but then we know they can be so good. And Chelsea are sort of here, there and everywhere as well. What result would I like? I probably stood... you know what? As much as I've predicted Man City, I'd much rather Chelsea win it. And I mean, when you look at the benches, Tosin, Nkunku, Neto, Gusto, all right, Dewsbury Hall, but Stones, Reece, Savio, yeah, Doku must be injured. I think it could go either way. We've seen some good games between these two teams over the years, and last year at Stamford Bridge was an absolute classic, of course, for all. I just hope we get to see a good game, really, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? That's what we're here for. What are you having for tea, Mark? We're having an Indian takeaway, actually, which I will be ordering at some point during this stream. Actually, I'm going to be multitasking, but yeah, I'm thinking tonight. Couple of watch-alongs, maybe get a beer for the second half, get an Indian takeaway for the end of the game, and then we go with a nice film later. If anyone's got any recommendations, a nice film later. Volume's very low. I can't do anything about it, mate. It's on full for me, and yeah, everything is as high as it can be, so there's nothing I can do about that. So if it's low for you, turn it up. That's about as good as it's gonna get. What do you think of Mamouche? At the end of the day, he's a player that a lot of people have been linked to based on his form this season. My personal feeling was, is he going to be another Garassi, where everyone was talking about him for about a year? And that was absolutely fine. Mrs. Goldbridge, who isn't here, says the volume is absolutely fine for her. I don't know what she's doing watching me do Man City Chelsea game. Must be a bloody Man City fan. I tell you what, if I found that out 10 years into marriage, we're getting a divorce. And Chelsea's no better. Basically the same thing. But yeah, I think that I've lost my train of thought now. I'm trying to think of my lawyer's number. I do think that it's going to be an interesting game. That's not what I was talking about. Kovacic against his former club, says, is John C. I'm a hipster, Mark. Come on, Chelsea. And Sam, welcome to the Members Club as well. Yeah, we were talking about Mamouche, weren't we? I think he was being mentioned by everybody, and I sort of felt, is he a bit of a hipster striker? Because he's not particularly young, is he? He's 25. But actually, I think he's turned out to be, if Man City are going for him, there's obviously an Arsenal were looking at him. He's obviously a very talented player. So I've got to be honest, it's a bit like when they got Haaland. I'd rather these players were in the Premier League because I love the Premier League and I want the Premier League to be the best league in the world. It's a shame he's gone to Man City. Obviously, he's a bit of a, basic footballer if he thinks Man City is a good place to go to. But, excited to see what he's all about. He's a very versatile player, apparently. Yeah. That's great. There was something I was going to look at there, and I've completely forgotten what it was going to be. We're about 4 minutes away from the start of this game. Pep under pressure. I'd love to do Man City in crisis. Yeah. If I could give you my ideal Saturday night, I was trying to tell you. Yeah. Indian takeaway after this. Couple of beers, film. But after I finish this, just record a nice 7-minute match reaction. Man City in crisis. That would complete the weekend, basically. Yeah, that would be lovely. That would be great. Okay, right. I've just realised what I need to do, and I'd completely forgotten about it, and I now can find it. There we go. Yeah, we're working with Sleeper, as we've mentioned on the Champions League nights before. And I want to just tell you what they're all about before the start of the game. So Sleeper was the top downloaded sports app in the US for the NFL season launch, surpassing ESPN and Yahoo. Millions use it daily for their sports fix. Renowned for offering the best fantasy experience with unmatched depth and customization, you can test your football knowledge with Sleeper's UCL prediction mode for free and compete for real prizes. So you can play this for free. It's a prediction game for the Champions League, which is obviously back again this week. So get involved with it. The entry closes just before kickoff. So, but this is for Champions League games. So give it a download. It's free. Links in the description. We're working with them on That's Football, and obviously it's free to play. You can play against your mates and stuff like that. You can play against other people, but it's renowned for offering deep in match analysis and stats around fantasy football. Sleeper. So give it a go. Lots of people have tried it already, and we're getting loads of good feedback on it. So make your match days more exciting. Challenge your mates and show off your football knowledge with Sleeper. And as I said, the link's in the description, or you can scan the QR code. Make sure when you're playing for the Champions League, you get it done before the start of the game, and you can win real prizes playing for free. So give it a go. Deeper features, more customization options than anywhere else. Whether you're setting up leagues with your friends or diving into quick prediction games, it's got something for everyone. Really, really well worth downloading it and having a look at it, because I'm not doing it any justice, really, in the sense that if you like your fancy Premier League and stuff like that, I think you will enjoy this. Only got my electricity back today. Missed the videos, says Callum. Yeah, look, you know Will, who we do the podcast with. You'll never guess what. He hadn't had a boiler for a week. He had to have a shower. He said he hit an all-time low. He had to go to the local leisure centre, pretend that he was having a swim. He can't swim, so he walked around the shallow end for about a minute, got out, and then had a shower. And in the shower, it was very obvious that he wasn't just having a shower after swimming, because he was using shaving foam and everything like that. So a low point for him. And a lot of people have it, electricity and boilers and stuff. I had a problem with my boiler before Christmas, actually. Shout out to all the people who are struggling without boilers and electricity. I don't think it gets spoken about enough. I don't hear it enough. It's not on the news enough. We hear about this and that, and elections and stuff. But what about the people who haven't got a boiler? They're suffering in silence. Rest in peace to Dennis Law. Yes, nice to see Manchester City doing something as well. Obviously played for Manchester City. Legend of the game. Legend of Manchester United. Persing saying Nacho is nowhere as good as Sanch. Glad some people still have good ball knowledge, says Karim. Sancho's done all right for Chelsea since he's gone there. I mean, look, Jadon Sancho, for me, is a player that had huge potential, that will end up being a relatively decent player, but will not hit the levels I think many of us thought he was going to do, which is, be an absolute baller at the highest level. But what he will do is probably sort of have an Ashley Young career, where he's a decent player on his day, but, is a bit inconsistent. But he's a talented player, but he's not going to be like a Saka or anything like that. He's going to end up being an Ashley Young type player. Ashley Young is clear. What film tonight, says James. The thing is, I never tell people the TV series I'm watching. We've kicked off, by the way. I never tell people the TV series I'm watching, and I never tell the people the film I'm going to watch, because, as you know, there are horrible people out there that will say, this is what happens at the end. This is what happens here. So I won't tell you the film I'm going to watch. I'll tell you after I've watched it. But I'm watching a good TV series at the moment, actually. Ones that I've watched recently that I would recommend. Rivals on Disney is a good one. And on many levels, it's got good drama, nudity, and a good story in it. Here we go. Oh, I tell you what, Mamouche could have been... he nearly got a goal. He nearly scored. I think he was offside, but nearly a debut goal. Straight away, running from deep, he's just offside. What a start that could have been. I'll tell you what, he's going to be a worldie. Yeah, he's going to be a worldie. No, he's got tell you what, he's got good strength, good pace. And he nearly got a goal there. Can't go wrong with the Sopranos rewatch, says Hannibal. I finished Yellowstone this week as well. I don't want to talk about Yellowstone too much because I've realised it's going to Netflix and Yellowstone, because it was on like Paramount, not a lot of people have actually watched it in the UK. And it's a great series to watch, but I've completed it now. And I wouldn't say it ends as bad as Game of Thrones. Chelsea in! Nicholas Jackson! Goal! It's a goal! And it's Madueke! And it's 1-0 to Chelsea! And it's a defensive error! And was it the new lad? Well, I tell you what, it was. Oh, you got to feel for him. You got to feel for him. The new lad in class has pissed himself. I mean, that's exactly what you don't want to happen. And if you're looking for an analogy, they've got a new young centre-back for Man City, and he's literally made a mistake with his first action. This is the equivalent of starting a new school, and when you're being introduced to all your classmates and you want to make an impression, you've got a big piss patch because you've weed yourself. Oh, you've got to feel for him. It's an absolute calamity. And Nicholas Jackson actually does very well to see Madueke there. It's 1-0 to Chelsea. Game on. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This is absolutely perfect for what we need in a game like this. But I do feel sorry for him. I don't like Man City. It's well documented, but he's a young lad and he's made an absolute stinker there. He really has. Get your head up. Get your head up. Stay humble, hey. Man City, more like Man City, says Lil. You should watch Landman. It's pretty good, says Nath Footy. I've heard good things about that. Thank you. Shout out to Paul, by the way. That was from James. Appreciate that. Well, look, get your comments in. It's a terrible start by Chelsea. And I tell you what, he might be getting booked for that. Cole Palmer could have been last man. Mate. Head's going to go. Someone needs to get an arm around him. He's cost them a goal and he's nearly just got sent off. He gets booked. I mean, it's not a red. Cole Palmer's not the last man, but it's definitely a yellow. I mean, how old is he? 20 years of age? Yeah, you know what? As I said, not a Man City fan, but bloody hell, he's got to be feeling it. Anthony's joined Betis on loan for the rest of the season. Well, what a great start. What an absolutely brilliant start to the game. Don't forget to check out Sleeper. Let me get the stats carousel rolling around for you. Yeah, absolutely fantastic start to this game. Chelsea winning 1-0. The new lad for Man City having a bloody nightmare. I do feel sorry for him. Yeah, as I say, don't like Man City, but they have got some good players and it's not their fault. But yeah, terrible start. Terrible start. And the additional problem is you're looking at his mentality now and yeah, it's he's got a yellow card against his name as well. What a debut. Best debut since the Titanic. I've seen the Arsenal red card, yeah. Who the hell was that defender? We want Pussy, says Arturo. I think he's gone on loan, hasn't he? Mike JBA says they've actually thrown him into the wrong game for a debut. I mean, look, you know what? Is that not a brilliant comment? I mean, John Stones is on the bench. Diaz is probably injured. Where's Aki? Aki probably injured as well. I suppose they haven't... I mean, maybe John Stones can't play that many games. Reese is a centre-back as well, but he's only 19. He's on the bench. So they've got a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old that they've brought in as centre-backs. I mean, he hasn't got a left-back. Yeah. Oh, well. It makes it... It's enjoyable. I'm a United fan and I feel bad for him, says Raz. We're just compassionate people. But Chelsea now, confidence away from home, grow into a game. Man City's confidence is terrible. I think they'll miss Kyle Walker as well. And I know people are going to laugh and go, you're always having a go about Kyle Walker. Madueke scored the goal. Somebody just asked in the chat. I know I've always... said that Kyle Walker is basically a Preston defender with a nitro boost, but they will miss him because his recovery pace gets them out of jail so often that they don't really have anybody with that pace in their back four anymore. So they will miss it. Nathan Ake's playing. It's hard to see with Man City. No, he's not. Akanji's playing. Be careful with that sort of statement. Akanji's playing. Nathan Ake's not playing. It's Vardiel, Akanji, Kushanov, Nunez, Kovacic, Gundogan, Mamouche, Silva, Foden, Haaland. Ake is not on the bench, and neither is Diaz. Reese is on the bench. He's the new Brazilian centre-back, 19, and John Stones is on the bench. At what point do City's owners look at potentially sacking Pep, or is he safe from it? Jace, I can only do what I can do. I've already done 4 Man City in crisis videos this year. It'll be 5 tonight. I need a new word. Like Man City sack Pep. Maybe we go with that tonight. I mean, I'm happy to go with Man City in crisis. You know, it's an in-joke. Nothing's going to stop me doing an in crisis video when I can. But Chelsea are playing the better team here. He's through! He's through! Square it! Palmer, square it! You're going to miss. Sancho. Oh, they've messed that up. That should be 2-0. I'm not even a Chelsea fan and I'm getting excited. How have they messed that up? They're through it. They're through. They should be 2-0 up. They'll regret that. They're going to regret that. I think Cole Palmer is basically a sweaty goal on FIFA. You know, he's just got to square it and it would have been 2-0. And now it's Man City. All he's got to do is square it and it's 2-0. And I think he overplays it to Nicholas Jackson. But Man City's defence is all over the shop. Oh, terrible. Yeah, it should have been 2-0 there. They might regret that. It's a great game, though. It's wide open. Should Cole Palmer have shot? Well, I think he normally does. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this. Shoot Foden. Shoot Foden. Oh, he's at the post. What a hit. I don't know why I'm saying to Foden to shoot. That's their throw-in. Good shot by Foden. This is the chance. Great interception. It's Mamouche who loses it. Cole Palmer's miles onside. And, yeah, he's not on his strong foot. It's the weight of the pass. Yeah. Although, if Nicholas Jackson was confident on his left, I don't think the pass is that bad. You know, look, I'm not Nicholas Jackson. I'm just a mid-40s, middle-aged man. But I'd have gone with that on my left foot, but I'm two-footed. He's earning the big money. I think Cole Palmer overhits it a little bit, but if Jackson's got a left foot, that's a goal. Should be 2-0. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I've said this about Chelsea for 2 years now. Nicholas Jackson is holding you back. Like, that is a tap-in on your left foot, and he doesn't want it. And if I'm Cole Palmer, I'm saying, I haven't overhit that pass. This is Premier League football. I'm under pressure. That's a tap-in for you on your left foot. This is the Premier League, mate. You should be able to tap it in on your left foot. So I've seen that back now. I thought Cole Palmer overhit the pass. I don't think he does. I think, you know, he puts it on his left foot. What, do you want me to put it on your bloody right foot? You've got 2 legs, mate. How am I blaming Jackson, Jenny? Because he should be able to tap it in on his left foot. He goes back onto his right. A United fan, but Mamouche got Flair vibes, says Josh. I've got to ask you about Jack and Rose. You still blame Jack, says Howder. Yeah, we're not going down that route again. We'll lose 20 minutes. There's plenty of room on the door, and she's the biggest villain since Darth Vader. Rose from the Titanic. Absolute cow. Anyway, back to the reality. Wow, could and should have been 2-0. But Man City then go and hit the post. What's all that Chinese writing on the side? Who's that? Come on then. Brains of Britain and the world. What does that actually say on the side there? What's actually being advertised? Because I can't buy it. It's mad, isn't it? The Premier League, and you're getting advertisers on the side that, you know, you used to know who they are. I don't know who they are now. Worldwide game. I'm not giving them any advertising, but it was crisps. No, someone said it was wine. It's Chinese wine, apparently. No, someone says it's crisps. It's crisps or wine. Vardiel with the cross. David says, a one-footed striker is ridiculous in a billion-dollar business. That's exactly what I'm saying. If Chelsea want to go to the next level, you'd have 3 points guaranteed if you had a 2-footed striker. There are wine-flavoured crisps. Oh, I can't believe that. Pass could have been better. The pass definitely could have been better. It wasn't a great pass, but it was good enough for a left-foot tap-in, and Chelsea don't have a striker that can do that. Nelly, with the comment of the day, said that the Chinese writing on the side of the Etihad going round actually said fans needed. Love it. Mic drop. Brilliant. You should get a job as a comedian, Lenny. I'd visit. If City lose, it should be Man City in turmoil, says Jew. That's a handball, surely. That won't be a goal. If they score from this, they'll go back and give a handball. Sancho will keep it in. I hope they do score, because that will be controversial, but no, they're not going to. It's cleared away. Betis will send Anthony back as soon as they see the spin, says Freddie. Oh yeah, Anthony's now signed for Betis on loan till the end of the season. As you can tell, as a Man United fan, it's amazing news. 80 million flop goes on loan to Real Betis 2 years later. Who would win in a scrap, you or a giraffe, says Sols. I think it'd be close. I think we'd have to do like a trilogy and take it to Saudi. DAZN would be all over it. Give me a ladder and I'll win every one. It'd have to be a ladder match. Take it to the WWE. Do you think Pep's divorce has got anything to do with it, says Constantine? I think Pep's just a man. He's not a robot. He's not a machine. And but no, I think I was right on the video I did with Loz on Thursday. I think that the issue with Pep Guardiola is, and I can relate to this in businesses I've worked in, you're better off in a business where you've got people to support and work with you, Because if you're running the business top to toe, because you're a control freak, or because the people around you aren't good enough to do it the way you want them to do it, then you're going to struggle when things start to go wrong. And I look at Pep Guardiola, I see a guy that for years has just run that club from top to bottom, meticulously, obsessively, and now he needs some help. And there's nobody around him to help him. And those people around him are starting to sort of desert him as well. So, and not all of it deliberately. Look, Rodri's out for the season. He's a massive player for Pep. His director of football's gone. Some of his players are leaving because they're coming towards the end of their careers and it's hard to replace them. Sim says, watch along for the Super Bowl. Yes. That's not just a decision I've made now. Yes. I really wish somebody would tell me what Robbie went for in this game, because I went with the Man City win, which I don't want and doesn't look like it's going to happen. I don't think he said Chelsea win. I think he said a draw. So Chelsea win I can take. Did anybody watch Win, Lose or Draw with me and Robbie yesterday on this channel? And if so, can you remember what he said about Chelsea? He said draw. He did. Thank you. Yeah. 6 to 7 people are saying draw. There's a little bit of a troll in there saying Chelsea win. I don't think he said Chelsea win. I think he said a draw. Watch along for the Bills tomorrow. It's a late, mate. That's a late night to start the week on. I'll probably watch the first hour of it and then I'll fall asleep. Super Bowl was easy. I just get loads of American sweets and start downing them from 9 o'clock and I'm buzzing my tits off until 5. Sancho. Have a look at City's fixtures, you'll smile. Man City's fixtures, for years, it was always Wigan at home, even though Wigan were in League One. But lately, I look at Man City's fixtures and I go, ooh. So their fixtures are as follows. They've got Club Brugge on Wednesday, which is going to be hilarious if they don't win. Then they've got Arsenal away. That'll be tough. Leyton Orient in the Cup. Then they've got Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home, and Tottenham away. Yeah, they've got a bad February. They're going to lose some more games. But you know what, though? Even if they find their way back into this game, because, look, they're at home, they've got good players, anything can happen. But even if they find their way back into this game, they haven't played well again. They're not Man City. If they lose to Tottenham, they've stuffed it. United paid £50 million for Onana when they didn't need him, and now they need that £50 million to balance the books. Great management, says Chop. Jaden says, poor start for their new centre-back. As a Chelsea fan, can't complain though. Hello, the Blues. Love the content, Mark. Soundtrack to my life. Thank you, Jaden. Haaland's so bad. Look, I think when we're talking about Erling Haaland, it's really quite simple, and it comes down to the fact that if you don't give him service, there's not a lot else to his game. There really isn't. The link-up play, the ability to run with the ball, he's quite predictable. He's quick, he's tall, he's strong, and he's a good finisher. And that's enough when you're playing a team that provides you. You put him up front for Brentford, he's going to struggle. Thanks for the super chat. F1 Australia watch along in March. Lewis in a Ferrari, says Mohammed. I might look at that. You know, I'm looking forward to that. The F1. It finished well last season. Here we go. Man City, bit of space down the left-hand side with Vardiel. Good cross, and could have been 1-1. Mamouche nearly on the end of it, but offside again. Do they not have offside in Germany? Because this guy is offside a lot. Maybe he's just excited. Let's have a look at how offside he was, because, I mean, he was never going to get on the end of it anyway. Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's miles off. Mate, you missed it anyway and you were 5 yards offside. Fucking hell. Needs to learn to stay on side. Yoro versus Kushinov will be the new comparison on who will be better. Both from League One, young and have potential to be great defenders, says Robble. I don't think Yoro is going to get the reputation of Kushinov unless Man United actually start climbing the league. It's quite rare that mid-table centre-backs get compared to title contenders centre-backs. You know, the thing I found interesting about Kushinov is that he plays for Uzbekistan. I can't think of a player at the highest level in the Premier League that has played for Uzbekistan before. There's a quiz question for you. Mark, why isn't the new podcast episode on Spotify? Because we only do Monday on the podcast now, Fennick. It's always on Spotify, and it's on a Monday morning early. We don't do a Friday one anymore. He is the first. There we go. Free kick to Man City here. Nigel says, I remember you heavily advocating for Qatar and how you didn't think Ineos would work, and here we are now, screwed. There's no joy in I told you so, and I still hope I'll be wrong, but it isn't going great, is it? This is a good free kick position. Mamouche is going to take it straight into the wall. Feels like Pep's really thrown these new signings in the hope that it's going to kickstart their season. And I think that's always a risk to do that in January. I remember Kevin Keegan doing it. They were 12 points clear at the top of the Premier League in '96, and they bought David Batty and Faustino Asprilla. And everyone was like, they're definitely going to win the league now. They're definitely going to win the league. They're 12 points clear, and they've just bought David Batty, who at that time was one of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League, and Asprilla. They lost the league. It can be dangerous chucking new players in. But I think Pep's been exposed as well. I mean, his reaction to bad results is to go and sign players. And he has already got an amazing squad. I mean, it's not like Spurs with no centre-backs or Man United with a bunch of players that can't play Amorim's system. They've got to go into the transfer market. He goes and spends £150 million because he's not winning games. That's got to be a goal. Vardiel does really well. Oh, he doesn't normally miss those. Composure, but then the final shot's over the bar. Josh Burke says, do you reckon Gary and Sir Jim are secret Chelsea fans? Jim trying to give all our best players to them and Gary glazing them on commentary, says Josh. Yeah, but let's not forget. I think Chelsea fans will be typing this before I can get it out. Was it not Gary Neville and Carragher who were mocking Todd Boehly as basically some American rich guy who doesn't know anything about football with his tactics of bringing players in, etc. And now they're glazing him. So I don't think Gary Neville's a Chelsea fan. Well, I know he's not. Pep overrated. He needs to go to a club that doesn't have an open up checkbook and will know how good of a manager he really is. The Chinese writing was Michael Jackson over Nicholas, says Eden. Is there a United stand show tonight, says Red Devil? Yeah, we've got to get the preview up for Fulham. What do you think of the Yellowstone finale, says Will Morris? I always enjoyed Yellowstone, but what I would say is I think they had to rush a hell of a lot in that final season. it was a little bit like Game of Thrones in that sense. A lot better than the final season of Game of Thrones. There was some good bits in it, but it felt very rushed. I think the way it all ends was a little bit... It was okay, but for 5 seasons, for it to end like that, I just think it was rushed. But politically, it had to be, didn't it? Literally did the definition of a checkbook manager, says Danny on the gas. Well, you know what, Danny? I was one of those people that always said, look, Pep Guardiola deserves his place as one of the greatest managers the game's ever produced. I disagree with it. I disagree with it because I think he didn't win the Champions League with Bayern Munich, which I know it's not easy to do, but that's your challenge. Winning the Bundesliga at Bayern Munich is like, you know, brushing your teeth. It's easy. And Man City, Barcelona, he had probably Barcelona's arguably best ever team. And at Man City, you know, you walk into a Man City that had already won the Premier League with their new money and then basically get what you want. So I think he is a checkbook manager. And this is probably one of the first times the goings got tough. And his reaction is, where's the checkbook? He's not adapted his style of play. They're consistently getting beat. If I was a Man City fan, I'd be very disappointed with Pep because I'd be like, look, we've been on this run for 3 months now. Yeah, there's always a couple of games where you're bad, but you've been on this run for 3 months now. Watched your Ineos video today. It's clear that United is a tax deduction cow for the Glazer Rats, says Lit. And what's one series you don't get the hype about, says Ross. It's a great question. I'll have to think about it. Nath says, why did Yellowstone need to end? Good point. Could have kept it going. Have you seen the film Whiplash, says Ninja? No. Here's Madueke in the box. Needs to pass. Find the pass. Cole Palmer. He's going to shoot. Deflected straight at Edison. Thank you very much. Rank these managers. Klopp, Pep, Keegan, Howe. Keegan bottom, Howe third, Pep second, Klopp first. Cameron, also Man City have all the refs no matter what. You can't save the game from that, says Cameron. Yeah, the series lost did leave me lost. I'm glad they're losing. They deserve this after all the paying the refs they've done, says Sheep Lane. And Mark, predictions for the Bills-Chiefs tomorrow, says Otis. I want the Bills to win, but I think the Chiefs will win. They've just had a miraculous season of not scoring high, but winning games. So, yeah, I think they'll win. And they're a very experienced side. And the Bills have a reputation of, you know, stuttering, as we know. I've seen Succession. I quite enjoyed that. Half an hour gone, 1-0 to Man City. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner to That's Football. Daily content on here. Everybody is welcome. And we are heading towards 1.3 million, as you can see my finger is as well. Ooh. Mark, you just missed a chance. I don't know why I missed that chance. I think I'm getting worse this season. Let's have a look. He was offside, wasn't he? I think first 3 minutes of Kushanov's debut was worse than my first 3 minutes debut. I talk, of course, football. Twisted my ankle, says Howder. Was the Lewis Skelly red card the right choice? Absolutely not. Greenfire, absolutely not. And who do you want to win the Super Bowl, says Gibb. Anybody except the Chiefs, really. Don't care. I'd like the Bills to win it, but Anybody but the Chiefs. Shout out to the mods. I gave up on The Walking Dead as a series, I've got to be honest. I used to really like it, gave up on it. If you could manage one Premier League team for one season, which team would you pick? Oh, obviously Man United, you boy. Rest in peace, my uncle, who passed... Yeah, I never read your comments out. They're really weird. Sorry. The three-peat is inevitable, says Dante. Do you think Wolves will go down? Good cross to the back post, but I think Foden was offside anyway. Look, Wolves have got Man City and Liverpool, I think, in their next 3 games or something like that. Ipswich are playing Southampton next week. Chelsea's defensive line on offside is very good. Got to say that in the first half an hour. They keep catching Man City offside. I think that Man City... I think Wolves shouldn't be going down, but I sort of hope they do, because it'd be great if it wasn't 3 up, 3 down. Wolves are so bad that Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton really should be cut adrift. But Wolves are doing really bad. Thoughts on the Arsenal red card? Absolutely disgraced, T3. Really was bad. Shocking decision. People's team is the Commanders, says Connor Jackson. Rebecca says, I love the podcast. You join me on my Monday dog walk. Yeah, be back out again this morning. Not this morning, Monday morning. Check it out on Spotify. Goldbridge Saves Football with Will. Commanders rookie Jayden Daniels would be nice, says Quinton. Jackson has to go. Well, I don't. If I speak, I'll be in trouble. I've been saying this to Chelsea fans for so long that you need a proper striker. I think Nicholas Jackson is a good striker who can come in, probably a bench striker at this level. But you need a striker. You know, you need a, you know, I know it's not, I know they don't grow on trees, but Isaac, these sort of people. But Arsenal need one of them as well. Haaland, nearly. Gundogan, straight at the keeper. 1-1. I think there's an offside. Mamouche. You can't. I literally said he needs to learn to stay on side. He's offside again. He's saying check it, mate. You don't need to check it. It's you. You're born offside. Where did Man City buy Mamouche from? Offside. Mate, he's miles off again. He needs to learn the offside rule. And the stupid thing is, Bernardo Silva was onside for the bloody tap-in. He's just scored from an offside position, but Bernardo Silva was right next to him and he was onside. I've never seen Dexter, no. Watch Bernardo Silva here. Bernardo Silva's miles on. Oh, dear, dear, dear. That should have been 1-0. Just needs to learn the offside rule. He'll be fine. He's looked lively. He has looked lively. I think he'll end up being a good player, but he's probably, you know what it is, debut, he's probably just a little bit overeager. Soft says, can you rate in order, Mark? Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Peaky Blinders. Bloody hell, mate. I'm trying to do a football watch along here. I never completed The Sopranos or The Wire, so I'll just do those 3. Peaky Blinders, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. You know what surprises me? Cole Palmer there against Vardiel. It's amazing, and it's always been the case. I'm not picking on Cole Palmer, but it's amazing how many attackers will jump out of a tackle with a defender. And people will say, well, that's because they're attackers and they're not as physical, but I think it really does come down to a psychological thing. They're bigger than me and they're used to tackling and I might get hurt. Good to see Reece James back playing. Chelsea fan, agree about Jackson. He's not it, says Lloyd. Look, I genuinely think if Chelsea put Isak up front or Arsenal put Isak up front, that's going to give you probably another 5 to 10 points a season, which in a Premier League season is a big thing, isn't it? I haven't watched The Penguin, Chris, no. I'm like you, Harron. He says, wait, Reece James is playing. Literally was the same. Oh, babushka, 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 yay. Right, I've got to start thinking about food here. Crispy crust. I don't remember ordering. Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. I'm lazy. I go through my previous orders and have a look what I had. I've got to change it up tonight, though. I wasn't that impressed last time. I did like that, yeah. We'll go with that, I think. The movements off the ball from Mamouche is absolutely elite. United strikers need to take notes. Amazing signing for City, says Abraham. Yeah, look, I genuinely... That's football. It's not the United stands. I'm not a fan of Man City. Everybody knows that. But I got to say, I said this about Darwin Núñez as well. His movement is incredible. Now, people take the mickey out of Darwin Núñez because he misses chances. But I've always said he's a chance magnet. That doesn't happen by accident. That's movement. And what we've seen from Marmouche, it's very early days. It's very early days. But I wouldn't be worried that he's offside all the time, because that means he's making moves. And Rashford used to do it a lot. Doesn't do any moves now. Sat on his arse. But I wouldn't be worried about that from Mamouche. It shows a willingness to make runs. And you can work on that. You still watching the wrestling, Mark, says Simon. Yeah, watching a bit. I was watching Monday Night Raw last night, actually, with Seb. Drogba was the last top striker Chelsea had, says Paul. Why is there a 7 p.m. game tomorrow? Chill. If anyone knows the answer to that, let us know. Got no idea why Man United are playing Fulham at 7 o'clock tomorrow. My only theory is, was it meant to be the 12:30 game, and because it's televised, they've moved it to 7 p.m. slot. That's the only thing I can think. Saturday night main event on tonight. Is that on Netflix as well? Or not? What's your opinion on these 115 charges? Do you think that Man City will get punished, says Tom? I find it worrying that they're going into January and spent money. Yeah, I think that's a sign that they're probably not going to get into trouble, but we'll have to wait and see for the judgment. YouTube for the wrestling tonight. Oh, that's good. Vardiel again, showing his worth. I mean, how good is Vardiel going forward for Man City? I thought he was going to score then. Chelsea just need to be a little bit careful. I think Man City have been the best team for the last 10 minutes. Half a chance turned into a good chance from Vardiel. Good first touch, outside of the foot with his left foot. His finishing is very good. Obviously, that wasn't a great finish. What's your opinion? Oh, yeah, I've done that from Tom. Thank you very much. I'm guessing it was supposed to be 12:30, but United were playing Thursday and TNT wanted to still show it, so they put it at 7 p.m. That was my theory, Shane, as well. It's crap on fans, though. 7 o'clock on a Sunday night if you're travelling down to London. What are your thoughts on Bournemouth, says Simon? Hey, mate, I think that Newcastle... They're a very good side anyway, but that Newcastle result last week really was the catalyst, I think, for everybody to start going... Not only are they a good side, but they're a serious side. And they're a serious threat for the top 6 now. and they play Liverpool next Saturday. I think that's going to be a really interesting game. I'm looking forward to watching it. Sleepy Mark, I am tired actually. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, a good 10 minutes for Man City. Chelsea are playing this offside trap. And it's going to be a goal. 1-1. And it's Vardiel. And I have to say, I applauded Chelsea's high line, but that was an example of a high line that just was a little bit too silly for me. Because Cucurella hasn't got the recovery pace. And I'd say it's a deserved goal for Man City, to be fair. In the last 10 minutes, they've been the better side. But I don't know what they're doing here with this offside trap. And look at Madueke at the top. Madueke's killed them there. I mean, look, it's a good offside trap, but that is absolutely shocking. They're all playing offside, and then the right winger is playing everybody on by 5 yards. So you've got a back four playing offside, and he would have been offside, but then Madueke's keeping them all on. And this is the Premier League. And you're away to Man City, and you're doing that. It's incredible. Why are you doing that? Really bad. Really, really bad. What do you think is at the core of City's poor form? Love from Colorado. I personally think it's all about the loss of confidence and the massive loss of Rodri. That's my theory. That is terrible defending from Chelsea, though. And Madueke, I know he got the goal, but bloody hell. Well, people take the people have a pop at Spurs for high lines. That's just incredible, really. Having said that, Chelsea could have been 2-0 up and should have been 2-0 up. And we did say, to be fair, that they could be in that position again. You know, they should be 2-0 up. Is this the way to Amarillo? Every night I've been hugging my pillow. Do, 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 do. Well, game on, 1-1. I'd fancy Man City in the second half now. You can score too soon, can't you? And Chelsea seem to have just gone into that defensive lapse. They need a good talking to at half time. I think for 25 minutes Chelsea look really good. Last 20 minutes definitely Man City. As we approach half time. Sounds like the back. You're a medieval knight, sword or armour. Which could you beat, rhino or elephant? Mate, don't matter whether you got armour on. If an elephant treads on you, you're getting squashed even more with that metal. Rhino. I'll step out the way of its horn, and as it goes past, just one swipe, and it's good night. What do you think? I've done that one. Do you think Chelsea should go for Ramsdale when Southampton go down to replace Sanchez, as he's awful? And I love the podcast as RB. Yeah, you're not wrong. Chelsea do need a goalkeeper. Goalkeeper and a striker, definitely. Apart from that, I don't think they've got a lot wrong. I mean, look, if they get Garnacho, he's a good player. But I'd say, I mean, look, I don't want Garnacho to go. I want him to stay at Man United. But I'd also say from a Chelsea point of view, you look at Man City buying Mamouche for 50, and you want to go and get Chelsea for Garnacho for 60. Yeah, Garnacho's a good player, and in my opinion, he's cheap at 60 million. But why aren't you buying a bloody striker? There's something about Chelsea that's allergic to buying a striker, and I don't understand why. Even if you think Nicholas Jackson's okay, you still need another striker. I've just been asked a hot water question, and I don't have the answer without going to Hive. Hold on a minute. Why is... Yes. Good question. Yes, it's been on. Chelsea playing like cowards, says Alf. Right. What do you think about... Here's a question. I've always wanted to know the answer to this question, and I'm sure we've got some Chelsea fans watching, because as far as I'm aware, I don't think there even is a Chelsea YouTube channel, which is, you know, a gap in the market, potentially. What do you think about Madueke, Chelsea fans? Half-time. So let's have a look at those. Let's get those stats on the screen. What do you think about Madueke? Oh, well, look, it doesn't even need to be Chelsea fans. Doesn't need to be Chelsea fans. Like, what is the consensus on him? I think he is a typical winger. I think he scores goals, but ultimately, I think there's a real lack of concentration and awareness at times. And I think sometimes he can have a great game, and other times I watch him and I go, low IQ player. In the sense that just a little bit greedy, not switched on to what's going on around him, and defensively as well. Yeah, that's my thoughts. What's your order for tea, says the Hood? I'm definitely going to have a chicken tikka masala, garlic naan. I'm well in the mood for an Indian takeaway tonight, and I don't know about... I don't know about what else. Bad attitude, but could be a great player, says Cameron. Well, I'm not aware about the attitude thing with Madueke. I don't know anything about that. I suppose you'd only know that if you were a Chelsea fan. Madueke is way too selfish, but his breakthrough runs are beneficial for us, says Pep. If it's a loan, I'm in the mood for your nan as well, says Christian. Yeah, she's dead. That's actually an offence. He is a good player, yes. Sometimes he tends to switch off, says Helen. And Neto should be starting over him, says Blue. I mean, that's something I agree on. I mean, I think Neto's a fantastic player. I don't know why. Again, to me, Chelsea seem to be a team that collects centre-backs and wingers, but neglects strikers and goalkeepers. It's like, oh, let's buy another winger. Let's buy another centre-back. But let's not do anything about strikers and goalkeepers, which weirdly are the two areas on the pitch that get you better results, because goals scored and goals conceded. But yeah, it's a weird thing about Chelsea, and you know, I think they've done a very good job in hindsight. The one thing I would applaud Chelsea on is their ability to bypass PSR and pump money in that nobody thought they would. I mean, I ridiculed it at the time. I was like, they're buying all these players, and how are they going to get away with it? And they have done. But I have always said, and the tweets are there and the videos are there, I've always said about Chelsea, you spend all this money on defenders and wingers and midfielders and you don't buy a striker. And if you've spent $1 billion or $2 billion, I can't remember how much you've spent, it's not like the money wasn't there to go and buy a striker. You could have literally dropped 100 million on Napoli for Osman. You could have done it. You could have done the same with who was the other one I was thinking about? You could do it. You could do it at Newcastle with Isak. You could have done it with. There's so many people that they could have done it with, and they don't seem to want to do it, but they have got the money to do it. Chris says, when did Man United become Chelsea's feeder club and their get out of jail card? And Luke says City seem to be a little bit better. Look, to be fair, the new signings have brought a little bit of impetus, especially Mamouche. Jordan says Madueke and Jackson are liabilities. Thank you very much for your super chats, by the way. We're reading those out. And Abraham with another super chat said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I find it so odd how these top teams clearly need a killer number 9, but they're obsessed with buying hipster false 9s and young unproven talents and paying loads for them, says Abraham. There is a potential shortage of top class strikers, if we're being completely honest. I think that's a fair comment. But on the other hand, there are plenty of strikers that you can go and get that are going to add to your options. Jimenez at Feyenoord. Mamouche has just gone to Manchester City. You could take a punt on a number of strikers like that around. I mean, Gyökeres is another one, isn't he, at Sporting? Let's not forget him. I'm sure Chelsea probably have a summer plan around a striker. But then again, I've said that for a couple of years as well. And yeah, it's definitely something that I would. Well, Arsenal are in the same position, and Chelsea are in the same position as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do, because you look at that first half, and I haven't seen the highlights shown again, but if Nicholas, it's not a great pass by Cole Palmer. I'm hopeful that they're going to show it. But if he's confident on his left foot, it's a tap-in. And as a striker, he'd be practicing that sort of stuff. When you're in the training ground and you're shooting, it's not always. They don't teach you the perfect passes. They teach you the bouncy one, the overhit one, because in a real game of football, it's not always going to be perfect. And he'd be scoring that chance at Cobham, but he's not confident enough. I think he thinks he's got time to get it on his right, but he hasn't. What's the news on Rashford? We're waiting to see. Stikey, thank you very much for your super chat. Chelsea seem to be getting praise lately, but 1.2 billion on this team is awful. Shocking value for money, says Lewis. I think they've bought well. I think Casido has grown into it. Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Madueke, Sancho are all good additions to that Chelsea side from where they were a couple of years ago. I think it's the balance of signings they've made. I think the striker situation and the goalkeeper situation does cause them issues. And quite rightly, I think people talk about that quite a lot. Some players just can't translate their training ground skills to high-pressure matches, says Michael Dunn. And I'm hoping they're going to show this chance here. No, they're going to show that. They're focusing on the centre-back. Very predictable mainstream shit, really. No, this is it. This is it. I'm watching it back now. So, look, plays it into Cole Palmer. It's slightly overhit by Cole Palmer, but, yeah, it's a tap-in on your left. That is a tap-in on your left. His body's open. It's not even overhit. That is a tap-in on your left. If you watch that back again, which I'm going to do. Cole Palmer, mate, that's a tap-in on your left. That's not even overhit. That's a tap-in on your left foot. He could have hit a slower pass, but it's still a tap-in on your left. Tap-in on your left. Robert Sanchez is Pony. I don't know what he does. I don't think he does anything massively wrong on the goal. It's the offside trap that causes this problem. I mean, look how high Colwill goes. But yeah, that's just look at. Do you have to wear white trainers if you do analysis on Sky? Have they got shares in white trainers? Anyway, enough of that. Stop picking on the white trainers, Goldbridge. What do you think of Ndia getting booked for doing a seagull celebration in front of the Brighton fans, says Solsk? As long as he didn't get sent off. Terran says, what do you think of Mamouche so far? I like the look of him. Obviously heard a lot about him. Hadn't watched a lot of him. Getting caught offside a hell of a lot. But that you can work on that. That's enthusiasm. I think he's got good balance. He's got good physicality. He's quick, and Man City haven't replaced Alvarez, so yeah. Is it a tap-in on your left, Mark, says DF? Yes. What's the worst thing to happen in football in the last decade? In my opinion, ball-playing goalkeeper nonsense. I miss the era where a goalkeeper was a goalkeeper, says Neil. Thank you very much, pal. Yeah, the playing out from the back has become a little bit tiresome, actually. So many mistakes happen because of it. And, yeah, I think I would be of the opinion that, similar to you, I think that playing out from the back is annoying. And I think it's becoming a little bit tiresome. Also, system football, you know, playing between the lines, playing the pass. I like people that take people on. I don't think we see that enough. If I'm being honest, I'm just thinking about Medina here. You can probably tell I'm looking at a big list of stuff. What have I got going on? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Chicken tenders. Oh, I need some vegetarian dish. That's what I'm looking for. I don't think they've got it. What do you think is going to happen in the second half? Well, Man City are at home. They've got the momentum, and I'd fancy them to kick on second half. But Chelsea, the game, first 20 minutes was Chelsea's game. Last 20 minutes has been Man City's game. So the argument is, how do Chelsea create more chances? They look a little bit light up front, which is always their big problem. But they were creating chances, so they've got to get back. The midfield battle. The reason teams move up the pitch is because they have possession of the ball, and Chelsea need to get back control of the ball. Salmon tikka, that'll do. Have some of that. Get some of that on there. I'm looking for sag paneer. I can't find it. Prawn on puree is good. Probably making everyone else hungry now. I'm starving. Are Man City still in a title race? Mate, are you having a laugh? Is he having a laugh? Have you seen the league table? Do they look like Man City are back in a title race? I mean, even if you add 2 points onto that, it's 41. There'd be 12 off Liverpool, and Liverpool have got a game in hand. No. Maresca is about to pull out half-time masterclass here, says Abik. Mamouche sounds like a Greek appetizer, says Parker. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for your super chats. Appreciate it. No, I mean, Man City, for a long time, I thought that Man City might be able to be the team to push Liverpool and Arsenal. But they've struggled, and I don't. They're not going to come back from that. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I've got my order ready to go. Lovely stuff. Oh, I'm going to get 2 garlic naans. I'm starving. Not for me. We will be sharing them. Not for you. Okay. Mark, do you think United's plan is to buy Dorgu now and buy Alvaro in the summer without having to pay more for Dorgu over the summer, says Chris? I think you're very, very optimistic. Nipan is in attendance at the Etihad. He's a Norwegian sort of attacking midfielder, young lad. So he's going to be going to Man City. I bet they'll play about 5 million. I've just tweeted about that. Thank you very much for letting me know. Muani scored on his debut for Juventus. What's the score in that game? Because they're playing Napoli, aren't they? Unless he's going to Chelsea. I don't know. Okay. Players about to come out for the second half. Is this the way to Amarillo? A bit of news, by the way. Driving with Goldbridge is back next week. Just going to leave that there. It's not done one for a year. It's coming back. We are 300 subscribers away from 295,000, by the way. So please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Also, don't forget to download and have a look at Sleeper. It's up on your screen there. This is a new relationship we have with an app from the United States. It's been very popular in NFL. It's a leader in like fantasy experience in NFL. You can play it for Champions League games for free and win real prizes. Check it out. It's really good. If you like fantasy experience and that, give it a go and give it a try. Links in the description or scan the QR code. Interestingly, just seeing Sancho and Haaland there having a little bit of a hug. They're not in a relationship. Don't tell the Daily Mail, they'll run that. They used to play with each other at Dortmund, which I'm sure most of you would know. I'm just filling time because I've lost the live chat. No, that's not. I don't want to be on that one. Here we go. Man City versus Chelsea. There we go. Any other watch-alongs this weekend? No. Will cooking with Goldbridge? That definitely won't happen. Only on OnlyFans. Cooking with Goldbridge, I could bring it back. It takes a little bit more to figure it out, but I could do it. Are you worried about Paul Merson, Mark? I think he might be back on the drugs. That's from Matt. No, I just think his opinions are crap. To be fair. Which way are you going in the second half, everyone? I do think City might be able to do this. Oh, I love the purple clothes you wear. Is Foden down the left-hand side? What's happening with my live chat? Should Man United have waited for the Bournemouth manager, Sully? No. That's just such a naive comment. I'm sorry, I think it is, because there's nothing wrong with the appointment of Amorim. Man United fans love Amorim and he speaks sense, but the squad is terrible. What a touch by Madueke that was. He should have continued. Nah, he's overplayed that. It's a shame because the first touch was good, but he should have committed with the second touch. Didn't back himself. We can't have Palmer being the attacker and playmaker as well. Our attackers need to step up, says Wyatt. Any other watch-alongs this weekend? Man United, Fulham tomorrow night. I mean, there is games tomorrow, but they're not really games that massively grab my, wet my whistle, so to speak. Palace, Brentford at 2, Tottenham, Leicester at 2, and then Villa, West Ham at 4:30. Nah, not interested in any of them. all due respect. Man United Fulham, of course, will be on the United stand at 7 o'clock. Weird to have a 7 o'clock game, but not the end of the world. I think Man City are looking good here. Sanchez reads the ball through behind. I'd be very worried about that high line. Would you trade Palmer for Mainu? Better ceiling, says Sebastian. Look, for me, you're talking to the wrong person. For me, Manchester United is about developing youth. It goes back to the Busby Babes. It's what our identity is. You're not going to catch me trading in someone like Kobe Mainu for Cole Palmer, even though I know Cole Palmer's a better player. I still think what we stand for and what we are is more important than doing things like that. Is Cole Palmer a better player? 100%. Yes, lads, UTV says we should beat West Ham comfortably, but we always make it difficult and more difficult than it should. Well, I think the league table at the moment looks intriguing, to be honest with you, in relation to that race for the top four. I think Man City will be there, but they've got to start winning games, starting with today, considering they've got Arsenal and Liverpool coming up in their next 4 games. So make bread while you can. And again, that's what, if Man City win this game, I think Man City winning puts them ahead of Chelsea. Newcastle are up there, doing really, really well. And a win for Villa puts them in the mix again, doesn't it? There's this belief that Forest and Bournemouth will drop off. Maybe that's a fair belief, maybe it's not. Cole Palmer into the box. Not a great cross. Edge of the box. Enzo Fernandez needs to win the second ball. It's got a good tempo to it, this game. Here's Haaland. Good save, Sanchez. First real sniff Haaland's had. And it was a good save, considering it was on his left foot. Do you think City spent because it was the last chance, says Sebastian? I mean, there is a sense in that. But on the other hand, what if you get relegated and you've got all these players? Is it not going to break you having to let them all go? Cole Palmer into Madueke. Sancho's on the back post, needs some support. Cucurella over the bar. Hi, Mark. I'm a United fan and Dortmund. Do you think Ten Hag will go to Dortmund? And if he does, do you think he can do better than he did at United, says OTG? I think, myself included, there's a lot of people that would love to see Ten Hag back in the game at a big club doing well. I don't know whether that's going to happen. Doku must be injured because he's not on the bench. Can't see this ending in a draw. Unless it's like a 3. I can't see it staying 0-0, basically. Hey Mark, love you. As a Middlesbrough fan, it really bugs me when YouTubers are Big Six fans act like they're entitled to win everything. Not you though, says Jassa. I don't really have a lot of choice, really. We're not entitled to win everything. Hannah's having a homemade curry tonight. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. John Stones is going to come on. I wonder if he's going to take off the young lad here. I'd say he probably is. It's a high note. Yeah, off he goes. He's done all right for 52 minutes, hasn't he? Off he goes. Pebbles comes on. Probably premeditated that he was only going to play a certain amount of football anyway. Erik Ten Hag must buy Anthony and Onana from us for 200 million, says Parker. Be nice, wouldn't it? I don't think it's going to happen. There's a Chelsea player down injured at the moment. Been injured down for a while. Chalobah. Poor old Eugene. He hasn't seen Poussey for ages. I think he's gone on loan. I'm sure he did. Let's have a look. He's apparently he's the future of Man City's defence. I don't know. I was just having a quick look there before the game kicked off again. But Anthony would be decent in the Bundesliga, says Marty. I don't know. I don't know, mate. Really. Pep's got his big coat on. Chalobah's back. Ten Hag will not go to Dortmund due to he will stop receiving payment from Man United. Dortmund have to pay some salary for not losing money, says Ronnie. He might be right. I mean, I don't know. He will be receiving a lot of money from Man United, £15 million. So if he went to Dortmund, it would probably save Man United a bit of money. But if you're Ten Hag as well, is money your god or is your career your goal? And if he waits and keeps earning money, the longer you're out the game, the less good the job you get. I mean, there's not many jobs out there that are going to be available for Ten Hag better than Dortmund. Dortmund's a cracking job. He's not likely to walk into the Barcelona job or the Real Madrid job or the, Bayern Munich job in the next 2 years, is he? That's a nice ball by Sanchez. Get Neto on. This game's made for Neto. I feel like either Madueke or Sancho haven't really been able to make but much of. I mean, I'd bring a striker on, but they haven't got one. Alfat says, do you see Man City in the top 4 at the end of the season? Look, from that point, 39 points, and they're only 2 points off top 4, and you look at the manager, they've spent £150 million in the January transfer window, and the squad they've got, it would be criminal if Man City weren't in top 4 at the end of the season. It's only 2 points, and all the money they've spent, and all the players they've got, but you've still got to start winning games. Here's Nicholas Jackson. You've got to wait. What's he doing? He's rubbish, mate. I think he slipped, though. Wheatley to Walsall. Do you think he'll do well? Says Shane. Hope so. I mean, he just messes this up here. What are you doing slipping on a bloody football pitch as well? How's your day been so far, says Lemsip. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm looking forward to my dinner. I'll tell you that. Very, very happy with the amount of people who've watched the video I put up today on the United Stand about the finances, because I think so many people don't actually understand it or speak about it. So I The more people who watch that video, screwed, why Ineos are destroying Man United, the better. I'll go up, mate. Yeah. You know, he's been sat next to me on a beanbag playing for the whole match. Never said a word. He's going to stand up now. There he is, look. Say hello. Oh. Never said a word. Like a cat. Yeah, Mummy said, can you go up? He's well trained, you see. He's literally been there for the whole match. Just, you wouldn't know. It's because he's got his bloody iPad. He's playing games on it. I'd love to see Ten Hag's fully backed vision, says Keel. And Andre Gomez says, do you think we're going to send a new bid for Dorgo? Well, 100%. We're not going to walk away from that. No way. Nice ball. Oh, that reminds me. I want my beer from the fridge. Should have asked him to get it. He can swear a little bit more now. I probably did let a few out, to be fair. It's funny though, because my daughter's at secondary school, never swears around the house at all. And she didn't know I was in the house the other day. And she's having her breakfast, falling out with her sister. And she goes, you're a fucking bitch, you are. And I walked in, I went, I can't believe you speak like that. I've never heard you do that. And then I was laughing afterwards because I was like, I used to be like that as a kid. I never used to swear in the house because I'd be in massive trouble. But from the age of about 9, I'd be like, F this, this is shit, this, that and the other. But it's amazing how you can filter yourself when you're at home. David says you seem like a really cool dad. I don't know about that, mate, but thank you. Best midfield in the league, says Liverpool, Distressed Wranglers. Although I do like Newcastle's midfield as well. Chelsea's isn't bad. And let's not forget that games are won and lost in the midfield, so we mustn't dismiss the likes of Bournemouth and Forest and Fulham. You know, there's some good midfields. You can't do well without a good midfield, but I think Liverpool... and I've got to give huge credit to Klopp. He rebuilt that the summer before he left in a summer. I've never seen that. I've never seen a manager rebuild a midfield in 2 months, and he did it. And I spoke a lot about it last season, so I'm not going to bore everybody, but yeah, the summer before last, Klopp just rebuilt that midfield, and it's a good one. And it's got the thing about that midfield as well is I know he brought in McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai in one summer, but it's not just that. It's the support acts of Endo and what's it? I never forget. Curtis Jones, Harvey Price, Harvey Elliott. That has I always get that wrong as well. That provides that support. Newcastle's midfield is good though. Joel Linton. I'm pleased. We were talking about Tonali earlier. I'm happy about Tonali. I can't believe I said Harvey Price. I'd like to see him play in the midfield for Liverpool though. I think we all would. People are complaining about the atmosphere. It's one thing you can't buy. But in fairness to Man City, this is Old Trafford as well. This is Anfield. This is the Etihad. This is the Emirates. The modern football, it's very difficult to maintain amazing atmospheres in the modern Premier League because, I think about when I was a lad and I went to Old Trafford for the first time in 1989, and the intimidation was unbelievable. It was like the atmosphere, the smells, it felt like dangerous. And it was the late 80s. But the vast majority of that crowd would not be family friendly. It would be completely different. And that leads to a different atmosphere in a ground. And the Premier League has become, the most watched league in the world because it's not stereotypically just, males of a certain age watching it. It's everybody watching it. And therefore, you're going to get that in the ground. You're going to get a lot of people. I mean, Man United, the amount of times on the United stand, or I'm getting messages from people saying, I'm taking my lad up to his first ever Man United game, or there's a lot of people there for the first time as well. People call it tourist fans. I think that's a bit offensive because it's like, it's transient fans. That's what it is. It's fans that don't go every week, first time, might not even support the clubs. Going to watch Chelsea, Man City, there might be quite a lot of people there that aren't the corporate side of it as well. Vast amount of corporate tickets. When I went to watch United play Brentford, and I took Seb, because his nephew went for a first game, he went in the Sir Alex stand and had a meal before. So Seb was like, I better be having a meal. He's not spoiled, but he did. And I said, okay, we'll do that. And we were in a room, it was like a restaurant-y bit. And I'd say 90% of the people there, I'd say probably didn't support Man United. You could just tell. It was corporate. Would you settle for an assistant manager role in the top 2 levels, or would you have to be the head coach? I think I'd like to be the head coach with a really good assistant, Tommy. Football's got worse nowadays as well, says Cameron. Well, yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I've said that for a long time. I mean, I think the quality of player is very, very different to what we had in the late 90s and the early noughties, But that's Pep Guardiola's got a lot to do with that and his systematic football. He's created systems rather than individuals. That was greedy by Mamouche. He should have slipped in Foden. I'm stunned he didn't do it. Again, you've got a really good player in Mamouche, but he's just got to calm down a little bit. He's looking for that debut goal. Watch this. Good hold-up play by Haaland. And it's a simple pass to Foden, and it would have been 2-1. To be honest, actually, by the time he's controlled it, I don't know whether the pass is on. It looked obviously on, but I think he had to play it first time. And at the moment he takes a touch, I don't know whether the pass is on anymore. John says, how's that secret lab chair you use? I've got a bad back considering getting one. Loves the channel. I actually used to have a really bad back sitting on a static chair, and I think having the ability to rock and roll does make a big difference. Here we go again. Haaland. What a goal. That's world class. That is world class. 2-1. Chelsea's keeper's a prat. But you know what? Chelsea fans are going to be losing their shit. It's as simple as that. I've just tweeted it. I said, look, great finish by Haaland, but Chelsea's continual neglection of getting a top-class goalkeeper and striker is killing them week in, week out. And it has been for about 18 months. The keeper shouldn't be there. He's in the most stupid position. And people will say that's world class by Haaland. But at the end of the day, is it? Is it really world class? He looks up and the goalkeeper's miles off his fucking line for no reason. It's not that difficult for a player of that quality on his left foot to put it into what is effectively an empty goal. It's crap goalkeeping. I mean, Enzo Fernandez, you can see it. It's absolutely shit goalkeeping. And if you deep this game down, then you've got a goalkeeping error and a striker that can't finish a tap in on his left foot. And you're losing 2-1. And in games of this magnitude, those are big, big, big margins of error. You just said it was world class. Mate, unfortunately, I've got VAR. And I can see something first time and think something. And then when I watch it back, I'm like, yeah, it's a good finish by Haaland. He's a world-class striker. But I wouldn't call it a world-class finish when I watched it back. Because I'm like, what the fucking hell is the goalkeeper doing? It's an open goal. Not knocking Haaland, it's a good finish, but it's not a world-class finish because the goals are, it's an open goal. I did say, oh God. Right. Move on. Low IQ people in the chat. Video title later. Chelsea need to sack the manager and get rid of Sanchez, says Cameron. And Kenneth says, according to Simon Jordan, Cole Palmer looks like Plug out of the Bash Street Kids. You can't be having a pop at somebody because of how they look. What did I say, Mark? They need to go for Ramsdale, says RB. And Hyan says, why is Mark clapping for City? Because it was a good finish by Haaland. But in hindsight, shooting into an empty goal for a world-class striker probably ain't as good as I thought it was. Hey, win, lose or draw. I said Man City win. Robbie said a draw. Tell you what, that's going down lovely. That is going down lovely, that. I used to love reading the Beano as well, Pavan. I nearly got the annual. If they still do it. Anglo-Saxon says, I'm not a Man United fan. I first visited Old Trafford when I was 15 with some talented football lads. Sir Bobby talked to us. Great memory. Football, says Anglo-Saxon. Lovely memory, yeah. I don't watch Chelsea enough to know, but I do get the feeling they don't like Sanchez. Madueke is surely offside there. Mate, he needs to make some subs here. Has he made any subs? De Bruyne's coming on. And Nkunku for Jackson. 61 minutes. Never even bloody noticed that. Surely you get Neto on. John says, random question. Do you watch Carwow or Matt Watson? Would be really good, cool seeing you all doing a collab. No. I honestly don't want to be offensive, but never heard of them. So Carwow's is about cars. Sancho off, Neto on. Gusto on, James off. De Bruyne's coming on for Mamouche. Look, he looks lively. Thanks for all your super chats tonight, by the way. Appreciate that. I think we've read all of those out, which is always important. Grealish sat on the bench, cheerleader. You know what? I said it at half time, and it's a prime example of what can happen when you're away from home. I've watched so many games now, as I'm sure many of you have, and you get to see patterns. And you know when Nicholas Jackson doesn't score that goal, what you instantly say that's probably going to come back and hurt Chelsea. Reminds me of my introduction into that was England against Argentina '98. Michael Owen scores that goal to put us 1 goal ahead, and then literally the next big chance was Paul Scholes, and he missed it. And if we'd scored that goal, we'd have won that game and not got knocked out. And I think in this game, if Nicholas Jackson scores that second goal, Chelsea win the game. And those moments in these games are why you need a better goalkeeper than Sanchez and a better striker than Nicholas Jackson. Because, yeah, it's all fine and well doing it against West Ham, but when it really matters, that inability to be that clinical or that reliable will cost you. And to be fair, look, Nicholas Jackson should score that, but at the other end, your goalkeeper running out for a ball he shouldn't be running out for and then not being in his goal is criminal as well. Wyatt Mitchell says, we've mixed feelings of Sanchez. He makes world-class saves, but then makes a mess up that an under-14 wouldn't make. And Nacho says, Brother Mark, who you got going to the Super Bowl? Chiefs and Eagles. I think it'll be the final. I think that's the best final if you want somebody to beat the Chiefs as well. I can't see the Commanders doing it. Commentary towards Kusanov is too harsh, says Logan Smith. Hey, mate, I'm no Man City fan, but he's a young kid making a debut. Made a couple of big mistakes at the start of the game and then didn't do anything wrong afterwards. I remember Vidic and Evra. Bloody hell. Vidic and Evra's first game was a bloody nightmare and they went on to be legends. People are too harsh and critical on new signings and young players. We're terrible at it at United. Sanchez or Onana? Let's do it. I mean, I was just waiting for somebody to do it. I was never going to do it, but either or. Sanchez or Onana. You know what? I'll have to think about that one. It's not easy. It's not easy, bruv. Arsenal Man City next Sunday. Looking forward to that. At the Etihad. At the Emirates, sorry. You never know in that type of a game. You just don't know. Arsenal without Saka. What I will say about Man City is, regardless of whatever bullshit excuse Pep Guardiola wants to give you, they should still be winning this league. Like, they have got an amazing array of talent. They've just spent 150 million euros, as we know. Some of those players are for the future, to be fair. But they've still got an amazing squad. I think the only team I think is actually on paper better than Man City is Liverpool. But so I don't think Arsenal. I don't necessarily think Arsenal are favourites in that game without Saka. Genius knows. Thank you very much for that, by the way. Second half's gone very quickly, hasn't it? 13 minutes to go. Will Liverpool win against Bournemouth next Saturday? I don't think they'll get beat. I can see a score draw. But I'm excited to see that. Bournemouth are probably the in-form team. That's a red. That's a red. That's a red. He's a dirty little shit, Bernardo Silva. How is that not a red? I mean, Arsenal fans, you'd be looking at going, how is that not a red? Fucking hell. How is that not a red by Silva? Another example of City players getting away with it. How is that not a red? It's so... From behind, studs up, and a yellow. That you know what? Because it's Man City, that won't even get spoken about. That is 100% a red card. It won't even get checked. I bet they won't even talk about it on the TV. It's almost like there's certain teams that just don't get scrutinised the way others. That was a red card. He's reputationally a little shit who always is quite dirty, and he slid through the back of him with his studs. I'm shocked by that. I'm absolutely shocked. Fun fact says Howder, James Carragher is 3 goals away from his father's career tally. James scored for Wigan today, says Howder. Lovely stuff. Well done. Carragher scored a lot of OGs. I would have done a poll on the Bernardo Silva red, but it's locked on Onana and Sanchez. Anglo-Saxon says, are City confident on beating FFP charges? Yes. They've always said they're confident. But you know what annoys me about that is that there'll be no coverage of it. They won't even talk about it on the TV. And this is what I always say about football. It's very scripted. If it happens in a certain game at a certain time, no one's interested. But you look at that Arsenal red card today, it's never a red. You look at what Bernardo Silva's done just there, it's a blatant red. But nobody will pick up on that. You know, Lineker in his podcast, Stick to Football, Match of the Day, they just won't talk about it. And if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be like, we should be playing 10 men for 10 minutes. Like, really, really should. S says, Palmer's not a big game player. Sweets for my sweets, sugar for my honey. Are you live on the United Stand at 8? There is a video going up at 8. I can put it on as a premiere if you want a bit of live chat. It's the preview though, I've already done it, but I can put it on as a premiere, so there's a bit of live chat. I might even sit in there and do it with you. Why is it a red card, Mark? Because it's got all the components of a red card. He's never getting the ball. It's from behind. It's out of control. It's reckless. It's dangerous. And his studs are up when he does it. And VAR said that the Arsenal one was a red card. So going by theirs, it's a red. I thought it was a red last season. I think it's a red this season, but... No one got a red because he's wearing light blue. There's no such thing as a red with light blue. How many... Here's an interesting question for you. I'd love to know the stats on this. How many red cards have Man City had in the last 3 seasons comparable to Arsenal? Now, I'd be stunned if the numbers aren't incredibly, massively different. Be so funny when City get every decision next week, says Easy. Cole Palmer always looks tired to me. I know the feeling. Oh, Rico Lewis got sent off, didn't he? Yeah. I didn't even know Nkunku was on the pitch, to be honest. As much as Nicholas Jackson misses big chances, at least you know he's on the pitch. Relic returns, says Palmer needs night nurse. Night nurse! I haven't heard that in ages. You've put a smile on my face there. I remember that advert. Night nurse. I've never had night nurse. I don't understand. I never really understand the. We've got these cold and flu tablets, and when you get them out, you have 2 for the night and then 6 for the day. And the night ones are different colours. And I'm like, what are they putting in the night ones that aren't in the day ones? But night nurse was like this medicine you could get. I don't know whether you get it in other countries in the UK. And it was for you at night. It was like medicine for night. And it had this advert and it would go, night nurse. But I don't know what it was. It was green, wasn't it? It's not the sort of night nurse I'd want. I wouldn't want, no, forget that. I wouldn't want any of that. Happily married. She watches as well, bloody hell. Not in a cuckold way. When I say she watches the stream. It's drowsy versus non-drowsy. Hey, if you want to get a good night's sleep, get yourself some lavender spray. Spray it about 10 minutes before you want to go to sleep. Put a Man United game on, you'll sleep like a baby. They put caffeine in the day tablets, Mark, says Sylv. G says, could you please read your comments on your United video? Mate, I read them all. I will go and read them. I've just been streaming for the last few hours, but if you watch that video I did on the United stand about the financial issues at United and you put a comment on it, this was the video. I don't read every comment on every video, but this one I've made a point of doing it. I've even replied to some. Hey, if Man City win, I get a point anyway, because Robbie said draw, I said win Man City, and he's beating me by a point in win, lose or draw, so I need the points. I'd rather a Man City win than a draw, to be honest. I've got to be selfish. Joseph says, Mark, remember Bruno got a red card that tackle. FaZe says, who got sent off? Nobody. Sanchez and Onana are locked on 50-50. I mean, that's not a good look for either of these players. I've played the game. Here we go. High line again. Foden. 3-1. Game over. I mean, Chelsea, I've got to say, fair play to Man City, but you have conspired to fuck this game up yourself. You score the first goal. You miss a tap-in with Nicholas Jackson because you won't buy a striker. You concede an equaliser playing a stupid offside line. You concede the second goal because your goalkeeper's gone off to Tesco's to get a meal deal. And you concede a third goal because you're playing the high line again. I mean, you can't take it away from Man City. They deserve to win the game. But Chelsea have completely and utterly disintegrated in front of my eyes tonight. They could have won this game. They could have at least got a draw. But a high line at the Etihad. They must be high. Maresca must be high. I mean, what are you doing playing a high line like that? Phil Foden's not even fast. And I tell you what, the goalkeeper needs to step forward at least 3 yards here. What's he doing standing so deep on a one-on-one? But, look, Chelsea's season's about top 4, if we're being honest. Who've Chelsea got next? What's their next few games? We like to look at that, don't we? We're in London, aren't we? Apparently last season, red cards in the Premier League, Man City had 3 and Arsenal had 6. So this year it must be like 1-9 or something like that. I mean, Arsenal have had a lot. Arsenal have had at least 4 this year. Chelsea are down to 6th now. Let's put it. Hopefully they've updated it on the screen. Let me have a look. Chelsea down to 6th. Man City up to 4th. Still 12 points behind Liverpool, and Liverpool have a game in hand. Chelsea's next few games are West Ham at home, Brighton away, Villa away, Southampton at home. 2 wins, 2 losses, really. Chelsea need to what's the word? Stabilise. They were really good up to December. They've had a really bad December. They've slightly got better in January. They need to they've got to be careful. They've got to be careful because Champions League football really should be within their grasp. They were potentially going to be in a bloody title race as well. I thought they were in a title race. Their form recently ain't good enough. So they've got to be a bit careful about that because they're level on points with Bournemouth. 1 point behind Newcastle. 4th place is there. Liverpool, Arsenal, City will get top 3. 4th place is there. Chelsea need to make sure they get it. Madueke, the fuck is he doing? What did I say about low IQ? He's a good player, but his IQ at times is low. What is he trying to do there? It's not a shot and it's not a cross. The first touch is world class. Maresca did this at Leicester. Great up to December, says Ackers. Arsenal get red. People start saying Arsenal blaming refs. City do the same. They get applauded. Premier League refs are a joke, says Dead Lacquer. Should I be worried about City as a Liverpool fan, says Stephen? Mate, no. Absolutely not. You're the best team in the league. They are 12 points behind you. And you've got a game in hand. You would need to lose 4 games. And they would need to win all of their games. Just for them to be level with you. It's not going to happen. So, Man City will not finish above Liverpool. They might catch Arsenal. I'm not going to say they won't catch Arsenal. And they will finish 3rd, at least. But they will not catch Liverpool. I agree with you. That, and I've said it for a long time, if I was Liverpool, the only team I'd be looking at is Man City. They're the only team capable of doing what needs to be done. And they've done it. But that gap's too big. I agree with Bogold that City could finish 2nd. They're a good team, but that gap's too big. Man United closed a 12-point gap on Newcastle in 1996. But by now, we were already eroding it. And Newcastle had never won the league before, and they bottled it massively. Liverpool have got players who've won that league before. They're a massive club. I think they're better. Liverpool can afford to lose at the Etihad against Man City, and they'll still be fine. But I don't think Liverpool will lose to Man City. Whereas Man City will drop more points. Give Man City credit tonight; they deserve the win. But how much of Chelsea contributed to it? And I just tweeted it there. Chelsea have unfortunately done themselves in with a hat-trick tonight of bad... Well, look, the hat-trick is Nicholas Jackson can't use his left foot, would have been 2-0. High line has cost you 2 goals. And goalkeeper inexplicably goes for a walk on... In fact, if anybody's looking... If anyone's got a dog and you've got work commitments and you need a dog walker, Sanchez for Chelsea loves going walking. He'll do it for free. Should I be worried about City? Yeah, I've done that one over the top. Mark, I don't understand why United are willing to sell Mainu. He was so composed during the Euros and has been good this year, says Gentleman's Hour. It's money, mate. We're not selling him because he's not a good player. We're not selling Garnacho because he's not a good player. We're selling him because we're broke. Do you think Newcastle could finish second? I don't think it really matters, Ryle. I think as long as you get top 4, that's all that matters. Who wins Champions League this season based on what we've seen, says Kevin. I think I put Liverpool down, didn't I? Orcus says no great signings in January for Chelsea equals top 8 at best. I think Chelsea have to get top 4. That's the pressure they're putting themselves under now. I think Chelsea have to get top 4. Obviously, Man City have got to get Champions League football as well, which they will. New title, Man City are back, says SK. Look, can I be really honest with you? If Man City lost this game, you'd get a match reaction, Man City in crisis. If Man City win, it's an early bath. I don't do a video. There's no point. If Liverpool win a game or Arsenal win a game, you might get Arsenal really good, Liverpool really good, Chelsea really good. Man City win a game, nah. And actually, you know what? It's got nothing to do with what I think about Man City. If Liverpool win a game, I know if I do a video that a lot of people will watch it, or Arsenal, or Chelsea. If Man City win a game, I may as well do something constructive like wax my arse or have another pint, because Man City destroy Chelsea 3-1. No one's interested in it. That's the honest truth. If I thought it was going to get a lot of interest, I'd probably bother doing it, but no one cares. Man City are shit. Man City in crisis. The end of Man City. People love it, but Man City are back. No one cares. So nice early bath for me. Anyway, we will have some content for you tomorrow on the channel, of course. And next watch along is Fulham, Man United, United stand. Oh, if Man City fans will be losing their shit, mate, you get your own back tomorrow night. We're probably going to lose to Fulham in 4K. Anyway, jokes aside, thanks everyone for turning in. Love it. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Love the 3 PMs as well. Take care, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon.